Welcome to Real Estate Investing with Alex Deacon. Mr. Deacon, it's been quite some time, hasn't it?
It has, Adam. How you doing, pal?
We're doing good. We're starting off our 2020 season here. Alex, it looks like we're probably going to hit some topics that we have in the past, some refreshers to start off the new year.
Yeah, we just did our first workshop, 1 of 5 this year, 2020, and we had an awesome turnout. We had 70 people. I think the next turnout's probably going to be better, but I just thought we would piggyback off of that, that topic,
right?
Which basically was, you can take over from here.
So today, what we're doing is finding and quickly analyzing your next real estate deal. Again, I think something we touched upon in the past, but we're just going to look at it through a different microscope today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, always get something different, even if it's the topic similar. I'm going to forget something in the last podcast we did, and maybe this one it'll be worded differently, or you might pick up something differently from the last one we did. It might be longer because I think we did a shorter version of this, but we'll see where it goes.
So, well, is there any, before we talk about your topics, was there anything maybe from your meetup that we wanted to pull in? Anything you want to promote, where they can?
Well, I wanted to thank Matt Stevens. He's my CPA, and he was one of our guest speakers. He spoke for about 35 to 40 minutes on just your basics that you need to know for the IRS. Basically, what you need to know is you need to get a good CPA, because it's just a maze of craziness. You can't possibly know it all, nor should you ever touch your own tax return. And then the other person I wanted to thank was Phil Scolari, who's a real estate specific attorney, and he does handle some other parts of the law, but mainly real estate. And he spoke about 40 minutes on creating an LLC, why you want to do that, how you should do it, how you should structure it, things like that. So I wanted to thank those two guys.
And where should people go if they want to find out when and how they can RSVP for your next?
If you just Google Alex Deacon Meetup, it'll pop up.
There you go. Yeah. There it is. All right, so let's get into.
And we have about 800 members now.
We do.
That's awesome.
It's growing.
I want to get to 1,000 by the end of the year.
I like it. Goals. Yeah. Goals.
Yeah, 1,000.
Speaking of
1,000. Yes. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Deacon. Go ahead. Let's dive into it.
Our topic at the last workshop, which was about 3 weeks ago? Yeah, it was 3 weeks ago. Because it was my birthday.
It was your birthday.
February 8th. Anybody listening?
You can hear everyone saying, "Happy birthday" through the microphone.
Send money and gifts. And that's good. But this is one of the most critical topics, and I can't stress it enough how important it is to be very conservative with your time. I find myself, I can't tell you how many times I get pulled away from my desk when I'm working on something important, and I get distracted. And you can't blame the other people walking in your office. You have to blame yourself for not controlling your own time and your own destiny. So, you have to set those goals and those standards for the people that work for you or your friends or family. Say, look, this is the time I'm focusing on my business. Don't bother me. Don't come in here. I'm very focused on it. So I let myself get distracted. And then what happens then is I get frustrated, and then I become non-productive. So it's very important. Step 1 is become very strict with your time. Number 2, if you're a procrastinator, get over it, because you're not going to succeed in any business if you procrastinate. And I have a gene in my DNA that allows me to procrastinate. Believe me, I can procrastinate with the best of them. If it's something I don't want to do, I will put it off until it becomes a problem. And I've done that so many times being a property owner, and not taking care of a small item that turns into a big item, and it becomes a major issue. Right. So if you procrastinate, you could be born a procrastinator, but you can practice and be an unprocrastinator, and it takes practice.
Procrastinator. I think that's
a new
dictionary, right? That's the thing.
Absolutely. So we talked about conserving your time, being an unprocrastinator. And then you have to have the proper mindset. So what I mean by that is you have to ask yourself, why am I getting into the real estate business? And the answer I hear the most is for the money or for the freedom. And I'll tell you right now why you should be getting into real estate. It is for the freedom. The freedom that the money will allow you to have, the freedom of not having a boss, the freedom of being accountable to only you and yourself, and knowing that you are in control of your destiny. So real estate's a great way to set yourself up for future financial success. It's not going to make you happy. It's not going to make your life easier right now. It's going to be work. You're going to be working for nothing. You're probably going to lose money on your. It's hard. Period. So if you don't like hard and you don't like work and you like to procrastinate and you're lazy and you don't want to get up early and go to bed late working, then don't get into this business.
Right.
But if you're passionate about it, it doesn't feel like work. Okay? So that's where the mindset comes in. So make sure you're getting into this for the right reason. And once you know what that reason is, embed that in your mind. And that's your goal and your vision. What is your goal? Is it to own? Is it to have this freedom so I can spend more time with my family? Whatever the case may be, it has to be a clear vision, and you have to be honed in on it at all times, because that keeps you going. That keeps you breaking through the barriers and the problems that you have. You'll get through those if your vision and your big why is strong enough. Okay? I know this is all wishy-washy type of stuff, but this is all stuff that is very important, and it's the basics. It's the core of how things will start and then take off and hopefully continue.
It was really impressed so far of the bullet points you have down, how you unknowingly weave them in already, and I'm just checking them off as you go.
Okay, check those suckers off.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll check them off. That one's good. Goals, vision. Okay. We talked about time. It's super important. So we'll get into the meat and potatoes of it. And this would be like if I was listening to a podcast, because I'm a high D personality, I'd be like, okay, Alex, just get to what I need to do every day to find properties and quickly analyze them and get them under contract and make money. That's what I want to know. So that's what we're going to jump into now. You have to, now over a course of time, the next bullet point is knowing your market. I call this your real estate IQ. You need to raise your real estate IQ. Well, how do I raise my real estate IQ, Alex? Well, this is how. You work very hard. You always watch the market. You talk to people and agents and everybody about real estate. You learn from people who don't know about real estate, and you're going to learn more from people who really, really know real estate and are good at it. And continually increase that knowledge. That's never going to stop. Okay? So continually do that, and the deals will become easier. The deals will become easier to find, easier to say that's not a deal. Because one of the most important things is not just conserving your time, but the other important thing that I should have added here is knowing when to say no. And that's important because that has to do with time. Because I don't know how many times a day I get a deal come across my desk, whether it's from a wholesaler or the MLS or something maybe I found from some other means, and I have to know, and that's what we're going to get into, I have to know when to say no.
Right.
Like if the property's just too far, it's going to take me too much time to go get there and look at it, I don't know the market well enough, say no. Sit in your office and continue planning and working on whatever you're working on that day. Don't chase every shiny object and every rainbow, because I tend to do that a lot.
Is there consistency to, and obviously it's not going to be 100%, but like more often than not, is there like a top 3 things that instantly turn you off of a property?
Yeah, there definitely is. One would be location.
Okay.
Geographically speaking, if I don't know the area, or I forget to turn.
You must have got the right answer.
If I don't know the area, or if it's too far, because usually when it's too far, I don't know the area, okay. So it's got 2 strikes against it. I don't know the market, and markets are very particular. They can vary from street to street, and if you don't know that specific market, a Zestimate on Zillow is not going to help you.
Right.
So if it's too far, or if I don't know the market, I'm probably going to pass on it because there's too many other deals that I could be looking at. So that's number one. The other turnoff would probably be literally the street view, right? So I'll do a little research and go on Google Maps and just look at the house, look at the neighborhood around it. That's going to dictate a lot. And I'm going to look at things like, I might even see structural issues. I might see a lot of steps to get to the house. I might see no parking. I might see no option to put parking in the back. I might see no yard. And all of a sudden you have like 2 or 3 or 4 strikes against you in this house, and you know the market well enough, you just pass on it. So the pictures are a huge way to assess, not necessarily the turnoff, but the pictures will show you what's bad. So you don't have to get in your car and go look at it. That's why I'm going to try to save you from getting in your car and spending time to go look at a property you should have no reason to go look at. Like, for example, today I got an email from an agent. She sent me an email from a wholesaler, literally just today. And it was a duplex in Scott Township. It's like literally 5 minutes from this office. So I didn't have any pictures of it other than what I saw online. It was like 60 grand. I'm like, I'm going to go look at it. So I got the lockbox code. I was able to get in. I spent a half an hour of my time today looking at a duplex I'm not going to buy.
Wow.
But can you imagine if I spent an hour and a half to get there and an hour and a half to come home, and I'm just pissed the whole way. Half hour, I knew it was a crapshoot if I was going to like this or not. It just needed too much work.
It's not bad to burn a half hour.
Utilities weren't split properly. I'm like, okay, it was a half hour. No worries. You know, so that's how I'll dictate, if I should go see it or not. And you said a third turnoff?
Google Street View, you do always bring it up. I'm sorry, not to cut you off, but you do bring it up a lot. That's really like a bread and butter tool for you, huh?
Oh, my, super helpful. I mean, technology now it's a curse and a blessing. It's a curse because everybody has I've got somebody sitting in their cubicle in Australia or China right now can look at the same thing I'm looking at. Mm-hmm. They just don't know the market here, but they have a lot of technology. So that's the curse, and that's our competition, and that's why the competition is so fierce in nationwide in North America here, is because real estate's affordable here and in a lot of the markets. So it's not affordable in San Francisco and Los Angeles and things like that, but it's affordable here where it's not affordable in many parts of the world. In some parts of the world, you don't have the opportunity. Right. So it's becoming fierce here. So it's a curse that way. It's a blessing because it can save you a lot of time too.
And then, back to the third one. To loop you back.
Pictures are super important. I mean, I think I covered. I said parking. I said a lot of steps. I said things like that. And we could talk about. So what's the first thing that I do when something crosses my desk today, like that duplex? Okay, so I'll walk you through my mindset and how I attack this. I got the email. I'm like, okay, it's a duplex. It's 5 minutes from here. I know the market. Good school district. I'm very interested. And I had time today to focus a few minutes on it. So I literally clicked the link. I clicked on the photos. I couldn't open the photos. So I'm like, okay, let me go on to Google Earth. So I Google Earth it. I looked at the front. I'm like, holy crap, there's like 40 steps to the front door. I'm like, okay, let me see if there's a garage in the back. There was a nice 2-car garage in off-street parking. Cool, that's very nice, added value. Then I contacted the wholesaler. I said, how do I get in? Then I went on the MLS and I looked and see if it's sold in the past, see if I could extract any information, right? And I think I was able to pull up some recent time that it sold. I was able to pull up maybe a couple of pictures of the inside, because you can do that yourself online. You can go on Zillow or some other websites, and a lot of times just pull pictures of one that sold 5 years ago. I liked what I saw, so then I contacted the wholesaler. I got his name from the email from the agent friend of mine. I texted him, I called him, and I emailed him. He responded to my text. He called me. He said, here's the lockbox code. I went over there and looked at it immediately, because I had some time between now and the time you and I are sitting down. So I can get over there in 15 minutes.
Right.
So when I walked through it, I noticed that the utilities weren't truly split, meaning there was separate electric, which is okay, because the first floor could have been a boiler system. The second floor you could convert to all electric heat. That's not a problem. The problem was there was only one hot water tank, so the one gas meter was going to heat the hot water and heat the whole house. Now you can eliminate the house heat by making the second floor all electric, but how are you going to make the hot water tank electric?
Right.
You can add a hot water tank and make it electric, but now you got to split that plumbing up, and that's going to cost thousands of dollars.
Right.
So taking that into account, taking into account the few structural issues I saw over there going to be an issue in the future. Take into account the location, the size of the units, the overall condition. I was like, I'm going to pass. Okay? So looked at all that pretty quickly. So I assessed the property in 5 minutes from my laptop, okay, from the computer I have right here at my desk in my office. I assessed it in 5 minutes, and I went and looked at it. Boom, it's just one that didn't work. If it would have worked, you have to look at thousands of properties a month online.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm exaggerating. You don't have to look at thousands, but I literally look at there's 100 that come up on the market every day, right? Houses and duplex and stuff. So I look at them quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just say there's 500 a day. I mean, a week, maybe 2,000. Maybe I do look at 2,000 properties a month. I mean, I'm talking real quick. Like I'll look at one for literally 2 seconds because I'll look at all the new listings that come into market, and I'll literally look at a listing of 100 new properties, and I'll just be going down the list.
I've watched you do that before.
Yeah. So I'm not spending even 3 seconds. It's like Upper St. Clair, 350,000. I can't make any money there. Right. Next.
Right.
And even if I could make money, I don't. It's out of my price range. It's out of my comfort level. I'm going to pass on it. I don't care.
Right.
I can't look at every one. I won't have any time to do anything else.
And I would assume it's like that with, like we always said, locations too. So you instantly right there, you can take certain locations off as you're going through that 100.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And I've already whittled that out too. I've already eliminated a lot of the locations. But then, you have to look at thousands of properties a month. Okay. And at least I do. And then I'll spend, so out of those, let's say I looked at 100 today. Out of the 100 today, I would probably focus on about 5 and spend anywhere from a minute to maybe 5 or 10 minutes on each one of those. Okay? Now, during the course of a week, if I look at what we're looking at, say 500 houses in 1 week online, I might go look at 3 of them. Okay, so that's the ratio you have to be thinking about. So I'm looking at 500 online. I'm going to physically maybe go look at 3. That's not a lot. And out of the 3, I'm probably out of the 3. So that means, let's say I look at 12 a month. Out of those 12, I'm lucky if I get 1.
Right.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a 3 week for 4 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, those are just ballpark numbers, but I'm telling you, it's a high ratio of looking at, and I always preach this. If you go out with an agent or you go out on your own and you look at 10 homes in one day, and you like all 10 and you want to make offers on all 10, you're doing something wrong. Right? Stop what you're doing, take a step back, call somebody who knows what they're doing.
I was gonna say, yeah. So, see, like if you start looking at different properties and you're 5 in, you've already picked 4 out of 5. Something's not right. You can't do all of that.
Yep, something's not right. You're not looking closely enough at them. You're looking at the wrong numbers. You're missing some things.
Doing too much.
Yeah. Okay. So you need to learn how to. That's raising your real estate IQ. How are you going to get to the point? Because I've been doing this for a long time, 28 years ish. Yeah. It's going to take time. You're not going to have to do it for 28 years, but you're going to have to put in your time. So the one way to leapfrog ahead of the way I did it, which is the hard way, and now it's much easier. So because you have podcasts,
right?
You have lots of people that come into town and they want to sign you up for their coaching program and all that crap. I would never do that.
Yeah, social media.
I would go to those free workshops and those free. They might have a $200 2-day seminar. Those $200 2-day seminars are just to sell you on their $12,000 or $24,000 coaching program. That's all they are. But you learn a lot.
Okay.
You could pick a lot out of those 2 days.
Okay.
So go to as many of those as you can. Join the local real estate groups and just start networking with wholesalers, with other investors, and talking the lingo and just listening. Listening is more important than the talking.
Right. You never learned anything by talking.
Correct. That's why God gave me 2 ears and 1 mouth. So we talked about how to quickly find and analyze deals. So, okay, where do you find the deals? This is where you need to look. You need to find an agent or be an agent yourself so you have access to the West Bend multi-list. I'd get a couple different agents who know different markets or different geographical areas. One, you need to get those on your team, those guys or gals on your team, so they can send you listings on a daily basis. 2, you need to set yourself up on any notifications with any wholesaler. How do I find wholesalers? You find wholesalers by just what I talked about, networking, talking with different people, getting yourself out there. Looking in the paper, and Craigslist. I know the paper's kind of archaic, but you know what? You can find some deals in the paper. I don't look in the paper, but I guarantee if somebody's advertising in the paper, they probably don't know what the internet is.
Right.
And you might be able to get a good deal from them because they're out of touch with maybe what values are.
That's true.
Okay.
And maybe a little more desperate to sell too.
Huh?
Maybe a little more desperate to sell too.
Yeah, maybe. So you just never know where your next deal is going to come from. Where else can you find deals? Just driving. You see a house that's boarded up. There are ways to find phone numbers, addresses, mail them something, try to reach them. There's ways to do that. There's ways to buy lists of people that are behind on mortgages, behind on taxes, landlords that are out of state. There's ways to do that. And I don't know all the ways to do it. I can't teach everything in a 15-minute podcast. If you want it bad enough, you're going to go find out how to get these lists and send these people mailers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So you have to have the deals coming. How can you quickly find and analyze deals if you can't find them first?
Right.
So finding them is step 1, right? And having them come to you. So having a team around you, a team of wholesalers, team of agents, all that stuff. You have to have leads coming in. Once the leads come in, then you have to school yourself and raise your REIQ, your real estate IQ, on how to assess these deals because you're going to be looking at hundreds and thousands of deals. You're going to have to minimize your time because once you get 1 or 2 under contract, it's a whole different ballgame. Now you're wearing different hats now. You're wearing hats of making sure the contracts are signed, making sure the die test is done, making sure we get to closing, making sure the financing is set up, making sure the contractors are there and ready. And while you're doing all that, what's not happening?
You're not looking at other houses.
Exactly. Your business is just shut down. You just shut down your business. Okay? So you have to understand that when you get busy, life's going to get in the way, and you're going to have to. It's just going to take some time.
Right.
You have to be somewhat patient to do anything, whether you want to open up a car detailing business or real estate. If you want to be highly successful, you have to be persistent, not procrastinate, be diligent with everything you do, and be patient at the same time because it's going to take some time.
It's a learned sort of personality, if you will. You know what I mean? I don't think anyone's really born into it. I have enough friends that do real estate now that you kind of see how it shaped them more so.
Absolutely. I wouldn't agree with you more because I will take hard work and persistence and dedication over natural ability any day. Because that hard work and dedication will exceed the natural ability.
It builds consistency.
Yeah. Now, if you have natural ability and you have hard work, then if you're Michael Jordan, there's no one going to beat you, right? Because he had everything. He had natural ability and the work ethic. Or Jerry Rice.
Right. That's a good one.
So, I think we maybe covered some of it. This is the tip of the iceberg, but this is just what we talked about at the last workshop. And what we did at the workshop is we just showed you on the screen, like, what I'm looking at. We looked at pictures of houses. So we can discuss this too now. So if you have pictures of houses, so for example, from a wholesaler or if it's on the West Bend multi-list, they'll typically have maybe 20 pictures, sometimes 50 pictures of the inside. So there's nothing better than those pictures because you're going to look at the house, you're going to look at the price, you're going to look at the area. You can say, okay, I do want to get in my car and go look at this. But then you happen to have pictures along with it, and then that's going to dictate if you do indeed get in your car because you're going to look at what the kitchens are like, what the bathrooms are like. You can maybe get a good look at the roof, and maybe they have some close-ups of the windows. You see a couple old furnaces over there. All these things start adding up, and you're adding this up in your head, which, again, you need to raise your real estate IQ on not just market knowledge, but what it costs to fix things and how much it's going to cost down the road that you need to budget for. And putting all these numbers together quickly, that will tell you, I'm getting in my car to go look at it or I'm not. Because I can do that very quickly now. And it's very helpful because there's nothing worse than being a new entrepreneur, a new real estate investor. You go, you're running around, you're learning, you're just constantly busy, but constantly busy not making any money. And what will happen is you'll lose that wind in your sails. Mm-hmm. You'll want to give up. And I don't want to see people give up. I want to see you get your best shot at it. But the best chance you have of succeeding is just not wasting as much time as possible. Right? Just trying to save as much of your time as possible. And so don't just do like what I did and it's just do it. I'm gonna be a real estate investor. Okay. And I just went out there and did it and screwed up and then succeeded and screwed up again. I took 2 steps forward and 3 steps back and then 3 steps forward and 2 steps back, and it's exhausting. But it made me the person I am today. It made me the investor I am today. Mm-hmm. So I guess there's something to be said about just doing it.
Right.
But it's nice to just do it and also have some sort of game plan and some sort of roadmap.
You remember the lessons if you learn them the hard way sometimes.
Absolutely. That's not the only way I learned. But it helps to have a mentor and someone to. So having a mentor, is very few people have the opportunity to have one. I never did, nor did I search for one. Mm-hmm. So if you can search for one, there is an art form to getting a mentor to want to take you under their wing, because mentors are typically very busy,
right?
And highly successful, and it's gonna be a hard time getting into their inner circle.
Yeah, true.
That's all I got, man. I'm all talked out.
That was good. That's why it's been a while, so I wanted to let you go as much as possible on that one. All right, well then what we'll do on this one is, it doesn't look like, I'm not going to ask if you have any final words today, because you had your words. So what we'll do is we're going to promote all of our social media accounts. Follow Alex. Find all his meetups on Meetup. He has are you still doing the landlording one as well?
Yeah, I got to get back into that, but we haven't done any this year yet, and it's almost the end of February.
Okay, so still find it on there.
Yeah, they're both on the Meetup site.
Okay, good. So go find Alex on the Meetup site. You're going to go to alexdeacon.com, DHREA.com. That's us here at Deacon, who are real estate advisors. Mace Property Management, we're going to give them a shout out as well. If any of your property management needs, find Alex on Facebook and Twitter at Alex Deacon. Alex, thank you so much.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. And guys, make sure you're subscribing to this podcast anywhere that you find it. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, Spreaker, and some other stations as well. So look for us, subscribe, and guys, thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.